Hi everyone, this is Priyanka Salod. I'm the co-founder of the Sleep Company. The Sleep Company was launched in October 2019 with the vision to become world's best comfort tech brand. We want to revolutionize the way people sleep and sit with our patented revolutionary smart grid products. Today I'm very happy to share that within 5 years of our journey, we are building one of the most disruptive omni comfort tech brand. And in the last 3 years since the time Fireside has come on board, the brand's grown to 600 crores. I think what differentiates the Sleep Company from every other legacy or new age brand in this country are our 4 big moats. I think first is our product differentiation. 2 is the way we are disrupting customer experience with Omni. Where we use a term called ROPO, where our consumers research online and they purchase offline. Third, which is very important to us, is how strong a brand we are building. We should become the brand of choice when anybody thinks of sitting or sleeping comfort. And fourth, we are completely backward and forward integrated, where we run our own manufacturing units, and as I told you, we run our own experience centers.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Harshal Salot. I'm the co-founder of the Sleep Company. Today, the Sleep Company is India's largest and fastest growing truly omni-channel brand. We're really disrupting comfort tech with our patented smart grid technology, which is a material-based innovation and the best material that you can have for your comfort needs. Just to give you a snapshot of where we are in our journey today, we are currently on a 580 crore ARR. We are growing at about 56% year on year. We are very, very close to EBITDA break even, and next year we will have a full year with positive EBITDA. We have a store network which will be 143 stores by the end of this month. I think we are probably the only brand which has a rating of 4.9 across more than 100,000 plus reviews for all our stores because of the great consumer experience that we've been able to provide till date. We are a mass premium brand, and we kind of cater to the more affluent segment of the Indian consumer, which we call India One. This segment of consumer is the fastest growing today in India. As you can see from the slide, by 2030, this number is going to be 2.2 to 2.3x of what it is today. This set of consumer is a consumer which is very, very well researched. They are very well traveled. They understand global trends. Since COVID, they have placed a lot of emphasis on their health, their wellness, their comfort. We believe this sect of the consumer contributes disproportionately to the total consumption in India and will continue to do so in the next 5 years. Today, if you see across categories from jewelry, footwear, eyewear, you've seen that the mass premium ends of brands have grown at a much, much faster pace as compared to the traditional brands. Even if you look at the real estate market today in India, you see a lot more houses being sold at a higher price point than at the affordable range of the price point. We believe these are super, super exciting times for us to play in this segment and win in this segment. When it comes to our industry, post-COVID, there has been a substantial increase in the search volumes for better comfort, better sleep. Sleep today is probably one of the most talked about subjects on the Indian podcast ecosystem, where everybody from Nikhil Kamath to a Tanmay Bhatt to Yo-Yo Honey Singh is all talking about how sleep is a new superpower and how you need to really invest in that. Until now in India, these categories were sold like commodities, and today also a large part of the Indian market sells these products like a commoditized product and not a lifestyle product. At TSC, we believe that you spend 1/3 of your life on a mattress every day for the next 10 years, and there has to be a very, very strong education to really change the behavioral mindset of the consumers in India one. Luckily for us, we are seeing a lot of them already moving up the ladder and evolving, where they are really trying to demand much better products. Due to this, we see the TAM for the segments that we play in doubling over the next 5 years to a $16 billion market from the $8 billion that it is today, which ensures that there are so many categories that will come out of this and big brands that can be built during this journey of the next 5 years. In India, if you see today, large brands have been built on either product innovation. Brands like Attenberg, Manyavar, Carrot Lane innovated on the product and have had huge outcomes. And there are some brands which have been built on completely changing the consumer experience or the purchase experience, like a Lenskart, Nykaa, FirstCry. At TSC, we believe we are doing both of them. We have our own patented, innovative products, which are a much, much superior material to anything that exists in the market. In addition to that, we have our own channel of COCO stores, of 143 stores, where we control the entire experience at the consumer. Today, we believe in India, affordability is not an issue, it is about share of wallet. Through proper education and customer experience, we really want to improve the share of wallet from the Indian consumer towards these categories. I think we've seen early success, but a very, very long way to go in our journey. So our idea is to really step change customer experience, and I'll come to how we think about doing it. So what we are disrupting, right? The first disruption is on the product. You have patented technologies that nobody else can offer, which are far superior. You have your omni-channel distribution network, which is controlled by you. Today, we have data of all the customers who walk into our stores, what they've liked, what they've not liked. We are able to understand feedback from customers much faster. We are able to change our value propositions depending on how the consumers are viewing those products and what they are asking us to do. And we have been able to launch so many different products just by interacting very closely with the customers and getting their feedback on. Thirdly, we are a full stack approach. We are completely backward integrated. We manufacture our own products. We do the quality control of our own products. We now also deliver by ourselves in the top 2 cities that we operate in, which is Mumbai and Bangalore. Because we want to ensure that right from pre-purchase to in-store experience to post-purchase, the customer has a seamless journey where they get everything as per the promised date, the promised quality, which makes their buying experience great. We've also been able to take this technology from mattresses, which we started with, to a lot of other sitting products like chairs, recliner sofas, which have completely unleashed a new set of growth for TSC. This is, just a snapshot of how our stores look like. They are very, very different from a typical traditional mattress store. We want to be the Apple of this category, very clean facades, minimalistic designs, very good and very well-trained store staff to really understand the consumer requirements and ensure that we educate them and help them take the right decisions. Like I mentioned, we are completely backward integrated and we want to control the entire experience. So right from the time we receive the order, we get our own manufacturing activated, we sell through our own channels and deliver through our own fleet. And that is what has given us more than 100,000 Google reviews with a 4.9 average rating. So thank you so much, guys. That's a little bit about TSC.
Hi, my name is Anurag Kedia and I am the co-founder of Pilgrim.
Hi, I'm Gagan, co-founder of Pilgrim. At Pilgrim, we are on a mission to bring the world's best beauty secrets to India and beyond. We are a beauty brand inspired by global beauty traditions, blended seamlessly with modern innovations in science. Pilgrim is a gender-neutral brand offering products across skincare, hair care, and skincare-infused color cosmetics. Our price points are India friendly and in the mass premium segment. More than half of our sales come from beyond metros, with a heavy skew towards the Tier 2 and Tier 3 towns. We are very proud to be a truly Bharat brand.
We are a beauty tech company which uses technology right from consumer insighting to the final launch of products. We have proprietary in-house tools and technologies which help us in data mining to understand consumer needs, competitive landscape, which products to launch, at what price point, and what pack size.
Our brand purpose is to take these consumers on a global journey to discover beauty rituals and exotic ingredients from around the world.
Together, let's make the world a little better, one product at a time.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll be presenting a little more details about the Pilgrim journey. So this is a little bit on the market size. The TAM we have presented is, as we speak today, $10 billion. And this includes the categories where we operate. The total TAM for beauty personal care is actually much larger. It is closer to $20 billion. $10 billion is just the TAM of the categories where we operate. It does not include categories like hair oils or oral care, feminine hygiene, hair color, where we do not operate. The SAM, which is the mass premium to premium segment, is close to $5 billion. This is where we operate. And we think we are well on track to be closer to $400 million or $0.4 billion in the next 4 to 5 years in terms of the revenue which we can expect for the company. Pilgrim's core consumer is a Bharat consumer. She's digitally savvy, values driven and result oriented. And this is the TG we are going after. And why we think this is the right TG to go after? It's a fairly large number of consumers in just the core TG already. In the 25 to 35 segment, women itself is a 40 million consumer base, which is expected to grow to 55 million. We also sell to Gen Zs and beyond 35. That is not the core TG. So that just helps us with the spillover. We also see a lot of spillover happening on male customers, where typically women will be the first buyer, but they'll go and influence the decision making in their household. So it's a fairly large market potential, and affluence of this cohort is growing very, very fast. These are digitally native and socially active, so engaging with them and designing the entire consumer journey around these consumers is possible, and it is trackable. And it's an underserved segment, we believe, because most of the larger FMCG companies have been very, very mass market driven. They have not driven innovation for this digitally savvy, socially aware kind of consumer, which is what Pilgrim is trying to drive. We think we are uniquely positioned to cater to this kind of a consumer segment. We are not just a tier 1 or a metro brand. We sell to close to, in offline itself, we sell to more than 150 cities. We have a fairly long tail of towns and cities, tier 2 towns, tier 3 towns, where we see a fair bit of sales coming in. There is a lot of democratization of information and media. How this helps is because Pilgrim stands for international beauty ingredients. The consumers are already aware when we talk about Korean beauty trends or a French red wine or an Australian tea tree, because they have been following trends across the globe on social media. They are following influencers who are available globally, and hence our job becomes slightly easier when we talk about some of these global trends and bring them to India. There is premiumization which is already happening across the country, and that obviously helps us establish the brand. There is increasing aspiration of the brand, and there's a preference for online channels. The 50% premium audience, 50% premium customers we were talking about, a large part of them are already shopping online, and the share of wallet is moving increasingly online. And that helps brands like us because we can reach all parts of the country even when the offline channel may not be completely built out. And there is the rise of conscious consumers. What do we mean by conscious consumers? Consumers of today are asking about good for me, good for society, good for the planet. Good for me would mean, is it a clean beauty brand? Are you using ingredients which are good for the body and mind, and they should not be harming the larger ecosystem? Good for the society. So consumers are increasingly asking about PETA certification of cruelty-free, vegan, and many of these brand attributes. And good for the planet. So apart from being a plastic positive brand, consumers are also asking, are you using ingredients which can go and destroy the ecosystem? So in beauty, there are sunscreen filters, for example, which can go and pollute the water and destroy the coral reefs. Consumers are increasingly aware about many of these ingredients, and they want brands to be talking about these, that these are not included as a part of the product offering. Why do we think consumers choose Pilgrim over other brands? The first is access to global beauty. We bring them international beauty ingredients, international beauty trends at India-friendly prices. Typically, most of our SKUs will retail between $3 to $7, $8. We think this is very, very India-friendly. And even when the international brands enter India, we continue to be very price competitive compared to some of these international brands. And we are affordable luxury. Consumers don't see as a cheaper alternative to a luxury brand, but they actually think of us as an aspirational brand. And many of our consumers are upgrading and not downtrading really. And we deal in transformative and functional products. Consumers of today are very, very demanding in terms of the results, whatever claims the brands are making, and what is the substantiation behind those claims, what are the results they can expect, and in how many days. This is a little bit of a journey with Fireside. Fireside partnered with Pilgrim close to 4 or 5 years back. At that time, all these revenue numbers are gross revenue numbers. Our ARR was $1.5 million. As we stand today, our gross revenue ARR is little upwards of $100 million. That's a CAGR of 230%. Our first round, which we raised with Fireside, was $1.7 million at a $6.5 million pre-money. We have total raised $35 million, and the last valuation, in fact, we're closing around as we speak, is at $350 million. That's a 50x growth on the valuation in the last 4 years. When the partnership began, we were into skincare and hair care. Now, apart from skincare and hair care, we also have makeup or color cosmetic products. When 4 years back, we were selling only on marketplaces and websites. Now we sell marketplaces, website. QCOM we include as a part of the marketplaces. And offline, we started building around 2 years back, and we are present across more than 10,000 stores. Our brand awareness score was 6. In fact, we didn't even know what brand tracks meant when we partnered. And in some way, we were nudged and forced to start doing regular brand tracks. Very happy to report that the last brand track, which is 3-4 months old, our brand awareness in NCCSA was 68. The team strength was a team of 19 people, and now we have more than 2,000 people. And it includes close to 1,500 beauty advisors, which are a part of our team. Why do we think Pilgrim is winning in the market and we are able to get market share from some of the larger companies? One is the brand positioning itself, the global beauty ingredients which we offer to Indian audience. I think no other brand does it in India or even internationally. While there are Korean beauty brands and French beauty brands, there is no brand globally which we are aware about which offers everything under one roof. And our NPD cycles, our innovation cycles are much faster than the traditional innovation cycles. Most FMCG companies would take 12 months or upwards to launch a product. Our innovation cycles are 3 to 4 months, so we can offer a fresh catalog if there is a new trend which is emerging in the beauty space. We built out a great beauty advisor channel. Close to 1,500 beauty advisors are a part of the company. And we retail from more than 1,200 beauty-assisted beauty advisor channels, where there is a brand representative, a sales girl who's helping the consumers choose the right products for their skin and hair care needs. D2C has been a very important part of the growth journey for us. Even at this scale, 40% of our revenues come from D2C or the brand's website, and we think that is one of the differentiators for us going forward. We have had a lot of focus on sustainability and the impact which we create as a company. More than 50% of the team members at our head office are women, and more than 65%, actually that number is closer to 70%, including the beauty advisors, of the company's total strength is comprised of women. We are a conscious beauty brand, which means we are vegan. We are PETA certified vegan, we are PETA certified cruelty free. And we also offer eco-friendly packaging. There is an ongoing effort to bring down our plastic footprint and the amount of fuel which gets consumed per delivery, etc. All of that is a conscious and ongoing effort we are making. We have benefited greatly from the Fireside partnership, and I'd like to talk a little bit about each of these building blocks. The first is the D2C growth playbook. I was in fact introduced to this concept of a playbook by a friend of Dainoveda who's sitting there. They got funded before us from Fireside. And I learned that Fireside had something called a D2C growth playbook. And I kind of cajoled and nudged Fireside to give us that playbook even before the funding happened. They were very kind to do it. Now that playbook, I'm very happy, is open source. It's available on the Fireside website. And we have benefited greatly. Without exaggeration, I have personally read and reread that playbook at least 10 times, and I continue to do it. We received a new updated version of the playbook, which I'm going to start reading coming week. One of the things which we didn't realize when we were building the company was how important it was to get the organizational structure right. And we have received a lot of hand-holding from the Fireside team in terms of how to think through roles and responsibilities, what is the kind of org structure which is required for companies as the company changes tracks and goes to the next orbit. I think this has been very, very helpful and wouldn't have been possible without the guidance which Fireside has been giving us. Of course, fundraising, Fireside has been a very, very critical part of the entire journey. We have done 3 or 4 rounds so far and received a lot of support through the Fireside ecosystem. We never had to go to the market. We never had to appoint a banker, except the first time when we got funded from Fireside. The next 3 fundraisers have all happened internally and with the support of Fireside and the LPs of Fireside and then other ecosystem partners, all of which happened because of Fireside, I'll say. Lot of ecosystem introductions, including yesterday and today, whether it was Flipkart, Amazon, Nykaa, Myntra, these kind of connects in the earlier days, or a delivery, warehousing, or today, all of us have attended the QCOM session, whether with Sri Harsha. Sri Harsha's team was there in the morning talking to all the founders. Yesterday, there was a Zepto session. Blinkit has done a couple of sessions over the last couple of years. So any part of ecosystem we have needed a soft connect or an introduction, I think Fireside entire team has been very, very helpful and very grateful the way we have received support there. Corporate governance and compliance has been one of the key focus areas which we have received as guidance on the board, and we have tried our best to ensure that we are at gold standard on this aspect as well. So these are some of the important building blocks where we have received a lot of support from Fireside. That's all from our side. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ankur, co-founder Rozana. I got inspired to start Rozana because of my early years growing up in rural Haryana. 70% of Indian population, which also makes 10% of world population, lives in rural areas. This rural consumer is either generalized or blatantly ignored, restricted to limited brand choices. Rozana is building community, convenience and choices by building supply chain infra from scratch, curating right brands and building a peer network of micro-entrepreneurs in the remotest part of Indian villages. Since Fireside's investment 10 months ago, our revenues have more than doubled. Our peer network has grown by 50%. We have a network of 32,000 plus micro-entrepreneurs in the areas we operate, whose household income has dramatically increased after starting with Rozana, and interestingly 80% plus of them are women. Employed people with Rozana, and hopefully this is just the beginning, and we are really excited for the large opportunity ahead of us and looking forward to building together.
Hi, thank you so much for the opportunity to come and represent Rozana here. I thought I'd use this opportunity to speak to all of you and introduce to all of you 2 Indias. In the morning, Harsha spoke about an India which asks for discretionary products every day. We had another session yesterday. There also we spoke about discretionary product, top India, and how Indian consumer consumes. And I thought probably this is the best opportunity where India's top corporate decision makers are probably at one place. And last year also I came here, I was saying the same thing, and I thought I'll keep on saying this till the time we all as an ecosystem together come forward to support the consumer that I'm going to introduce again. So this is a story of an India where need is more important than want. Right, of course it is important for all of us, but where the need is not supported just like a urban counterpart is, where they have access to roads, where they have access to internet, now they have phones, and now they are as aspirational as any one of us is, and yet we keep on fighting for basic consumer needs. This population makes 10%, actually 12.3% of world's population, 70% of Indian population. and contributes to half of India's GDP. The consumer every day keeps on aspiring to get more products. They also want to look good. If I am a lady in a village, I also like to look nice. I want to use some makeup. Lot of people come to me and say, why don't you sell seeds to people? Yeah, of course we can sell seeds, and yeah, they do agriculture as one of their core occupation is agriculture. But of course, they also have so many aspirations. They want their children to study. They want to consume new products. All the new age brands that we are seeing today, they want to wear great fancy clothes. They want to try colorful shoes. They also want to have nice chocolates. And, I'm sure many of you would have spent a childhood probably closer to mine. When I was a small child, I used to cut a halwa cake. My family did not have access to cakes. So my mom used to make halwa and tell me that this is the cake and cut it. And this is what I expected when I went to these villages every day. So we travel exclusively to a lot of villages. One of our founders live in villages. So when we got an opportunity to travel there, we realized every child wants to cut a cake. They also want balloons. They also want all the party products that I also want to celebrate my birthday. If many of you would have seen a series called Panchayat, if you haven't seen, please, would request you to see it. It's whatever we see in Panchayat is the village we serve, and it is last leg of India. Be it a child or a woman or a teenager or elderly person, everyone, literally everyone, probably somebody at the age of 50 might ask you for glasses. Somebody like a woman might ask you for colorful saris. So irrespective of what category we are talking about, be it a need category or a want category, this consumer needs products. And India has 6.5 lakh such villages, and which makes around 2.5 lakh gram panchayats. This just repeats whatever I'm saying. So I'll just probably skip a couple of slides here. So this is, but generally to be able to consume any of these products, this consumer needs to travel a few kilometers every day. This consumer needs to lose their day's income, either they're running a business or earning a daily wage or working in a factory or working in a corporate. If they have to get basic products, they need to travel far away in the areas. And we feel that we have, despite now having access to everything, the basic access to products is missing there. If we are able to just provide very, very basic necessity products to these consumers, we are looking forward to a India which probably, how we saw change from 30 years ago to now in India. That's what we are looking to unlock. So the most, just saying it again, that this is not only daily products, but more aspirational products. But whenever I as a consumer, I as a rural consumer, if I see a YouTube, if I see posting on different social media channels, when I see those products, when I see those services, I also want that. Very interesting. A lot of women in our villages asked us for chopped vegetables. They said, I cook 3 meals 3 times for probably 6 to 7 people at once. So if I can get chopped vegetables, it will change my life. It was like eye-opening for me that, one side we think that probably that consumer can't spend. So on spending power, I would like to just touch base here. We feel that the consumer can't spend, but this consumer, just like we look at an urban consumer with their per capita income, we look at this consumer from per household spending capacity. A family of our consumers spends around 20,000 rupees every month. Okay, this is not working, okay. So this is how it is spread out. A family of 6 generally spend 20,000 rupees every month on various products and categories, out of which every product, for most of these products actually, they need to go and travel the 10 to 12 kilometers. And we are just trying to bring those products, we are just trying to increase accessibility, we are just trying to increase the product portfolio. So out of out of this, either just grocery and staple, even if just we pick up just first category, even to buy as basic product as a salt or a sugar or edible oil, they travel 10 kilometers, 12 kilometers. And when I talk about cosmetics products, actually these numbers have come from large surveys done over years and understood. Cosmetics, interestingly, people consume from head to toe. I'll show you one more. This is, so this is what, I want to go back. Okay, this is what they ask for. This is what we don't sell today. We just sell groceries to them. And right now, like I said, just imagine a gram panchayat, which has around 450 homes. One home consumes around 20,000 rupees of stuff every month. If you multiply that number will be 90 lakh rupees per gram panchayat. We are talking about 2.5 lakh gram panchayats in India. And this 20,000 rupees actually constitute of all these categories. Just imagine anyone's life from day to night, which revolves around household, their cattle, their children. So everything revolves around. So we right now don't sell most of these categories, and we are looking forward to add most of them. And I feel, as like I said, as corporate decision makers, I think it is also our responsibility to also look at that consumer that is largely underserved. And if we are able to just provide basic products to that consumer, so most of, there are many founders here, most of our AOPs will be covered, I'm sure, relatively easily. So we just have to make products available. So interestingly, it looks very interesting that Rozana has such a large opportunity, India has such a large opportunity, but it's not as easy to actually go and cater to that consumer. I'll take you through our journey also. And the journey is just to provide basic product, basic needs to this consumer. When we started few years ago, 3 years ago actually we started. When we started, the first problem statement we faced was the consumer doesn't know what is e-commerce. We had to actually create a model of 98% plus of our consumers are first-time e-commerce consumers. This consumption was never unlocked before. This is the first time we are trying to bring that consumer to an era of new brands, new products that they can experience, that they can consume. So when we started, we had to travel a journey from telling them that there is a possibility that you can order a product online and the product will get delivered to you. So that was our first task we had to do. So we built a model around this particular problem. We went village to village and engaged with village level entrepreneurs. These are women living in village who went house to house and trained people on how can you place an order online, that your products can reach you. You don't have to actually walk. So we just solved problem number one, that they don't have to walk anywhere. The product can come to them. So first problem we solved was this. Second problem was we didn't have warehouses. We went to far-fetched rural areas. We went to absolutely villages, and there was no infrastructure. It is now it's been few years, so now people have started creating large warehouses around Rozana, and they have started coming that wherever you are now going, now we can start building those warehouses. So we used to work out of a school. So we used to put our stuff in school, and then when customer orders, then you used to deliver. We even enabled order on call delivery for consumers, that if you don't know how to use app, if you don't know how to discover, you can just place order on call. So they learned from order on call to now started learning app. Then we solved a solution for warehouses, how to solve warehouses. Now warehouses are available. Now we have a consumer placing order, and we have a warehouse from where we can deliver. Now there's the second problem. Our consumer do not know how to use UPI. So from 3 years ago, where consumers, only 1% consumers used to use UPI, we have reached 15-16%. But of course, the consumer would opt for COD, cash on delivery. So when the consumer gave us cash on delivery, we collected cash and we kept it in our warehouse. Now, when we kept it in a warehouse, there was no bank. Banks were far. We're talking about villages. When we didn't have banks, we had to find a solution to what do you do with the cash collected every day. We went to each and every bank. We would have met leadership of every banks. And today, I was just talking to SBI team, and I thought I will thank all of them here today. Today, wherever Rozana goes, SBI builds their infrastructure before us. We discuss with them, we tell them where is that we want to launch next. So they build their infrastructure, they pick up our cash, they have solved our cash problem, that how do we deposit cash now. And now, since we worked hand in hand with them, so we solved that problem. And now, after solving all of this, now consumer is solved, warehouse is solved, cash problem is solved. Now even the bigger, larger problem is in front of us. And that problem is availability of products. We are all talking about how do we sell product, how do we reach the consumer. We are facing just the opposite problem, because most of our brands have not probably taken that into account, that this is a product, this is a consumer, this is a consumer who can actually consume such large products that if I allocate a portion of my production to that consumer, probably this consumer will also get service, and probably, like I said, our AOPs will also get completed. So this is now we are actually, and Sir is sitting in front of me, now as Rozana, we are going on a spree to going and meeting all the brands and to explain to them that there is a consumer, there is a market exists which is untapped, and probably we should find a solve for them. So right now with Fireside, this is the largest charter going on in Rozana, कि सब brands से मिल रहे हैं, and thankfully we have been able to meet many of them. Few of them I can see, of course, Deshabh is in front of me. Every time I speak, he's in front of me. So yeah, we have definitely met many brands, and we are trying to just tie up with all of them, and hopefully going forward when I come next year, I hope we are able to tell that this is what we have been able to solve. Sorry, just will take few more seconds just to tell that this consumer actually spends money also. So we launched few of these products some time ago, and this is how it looked like. We launched shoes, and we sold 1,800 units in first week. We launched smartwatch. That was an unexception for us. That was unexpected for us. We didn't expect that we'll end up selling one watch every day. This was a small pilot, and we just launched in few blocks. And this is how we started. And Red Bull is considered to be, of course, an expensive brand. But we launched Red Bull, and we started selling Red Bull very quickly. So these were small pilots which were done in different parts before we launched full-fledged. So that's how we started working. More importantly, just one last thing I wanted to show, which was expanding touch points. So like I told about the journey of Rozana, what all we did with different consumer aspirations, we realized that this consumer needs to try many products before they buy, before making that decision of purchase, before, like a smartwatch I just showed. If the consumer doesn't try smartwatch, they will probably not make that purchase. If they don't try induction cooktop, they don't know how to use the induction cooktop. So we converted our dark stores that used to make delivery to different places. We converted our dark stores into something called a lit store, where consumer can now come and walk in and experience all the products that are available on the app. Now every such store is driving approximately 30% of sale by walk-ins, and 70% we deliver. So now we are trying to expand, figuring out how many stores can be now converted into lit store, but many of our dark stores now will also serve as a offline touch point for consumer, where they can try and buy products. So that's what we are looking forward to as Rozana, other than building infrastructure and bringing brands on board. So I just wanted to use this opportunity to please invite brands, that if we can figure out what does the consumer need, if it works for the brand, can we build another brand? Can we ensure that the supply is sufficient, the supply is more? So all of that, I just wanted to appeal here to all of you today, that please, this is a consumer which is underserved. Let's also try to serve that consumer. So this is what we're looking forward to. So that's okay. So that's our current board, and thank you so much, sir. We have Fireside, Bertelsmann, and 314 as our investors. And I hope we'll keep on working with all of them as closely as we have been. And thank you so much for being a great audience. I've been just telling stories all the while. And thank you so much. And Nandika, thank you for bearing with me.
Hi everyone, I'm Sumit. I'm founder and CEO of NewMe. We've been building NewMe from last 2.5 years now. We are building NewMe, an ultra fast fashion company for Gen Z women. Typical consumer of NewMe is generally in the age of 16 years to 25 years of age. In the last 2.5 years, we have served more than 1.2 million users across India. We have also scaled our business to a true omnichannel business, where in last 1 year, we opened 10 stores across 8 new cities of India. In the last 2 years, we have grown almost 17x in our journey. What we do at NewMe is that we drop more than 500 styles per week, which is extremely curated and on trend on a weekly basis. At NewMe, we empower young women to express themselves through fashion.
Good evening, everyone. I think I'm Sumit. Before we start, thanks, Ankur. I think taking to a very different consumer of India. Let me bring back to a consumer of India, which all of you see at your home who have kids. Gen Z is a new reality of India 1 and India 2. And today I represent NewMe, building a fashion brand for a very modern, very aspirational India, but in a very different manner from a typical fashion house. Can you move to the next slide? Yeah. So before we start there, I think there was a very beautiful report. Thanks to Kaval sir, introduced me to BCG team. And they built a fabulous report which helped us to actually put a market out for folks across the world. Coming from BCG puts a lot of value to it, that overall fashion in India is growing around 8% year on year, but fast fashion is supposed to grow 30-40% year on year. And the biggest reason for that is the consumer is changing. In most of the households today, decision making has gone from the hands of the senior most to the junior most. I have seen customers in our stores where the young girl is buying for her mother also with herself. Kids want their parents to look younger. That's the harsh reality. We are busy with our lives, but the kids are building fashion much more forward for India. So overall, if I look at business, 2 years back, 3 years back, fast fashion was a very small phenomena in India especially. There were only 2 players, Zara and H&M, which were all international players, no one building from India for Indian consumer. 24, it's poised to be around $10 billion. And in next 5 years, it's $30 billion, which is a massive opportunity for a lot of young brands building for Gen Z. In fast fashion, I think it's much bigger opportunity because I think people are tired of wearing same design more times now. People want more freshness, and that's why NewMe is freshest fashion fastest. So again, macro trends, very importantly, I think India is a cusp where China was 17 years behind before, which means that today GDP per capita is increasing. People are willing to spend money more on fashion and beauty. My friends at Pilgrim are a classic example. They've grown so fast because the investments or the kind of consumerism in beauty is becoming very high. And I think that's coming up in fashion as well now. So let me take 2 steps back again. I'm sure some of you relate to it in your families, but who is a Gen Z woman? Who is she? And that's something that intrigued 4 of us 3.5 years back. A Gen Z woman is generally a consumer who is still very, very aspirational, have less money in their pockets. So most of them are college students or early working professionals. And this something is very exciting for us because 3 years back, we thought Gen Z is only in colleges, but that's changing very, very fast. They are coming in workforce. Today, a late Gen Z is 26 years old, which means she is in a decent position in a lot of companies or corporate houses today. Now, very important thing, which is very different from millennial here, is the unique needs, which sometimes it's said and unsaid both. Biggest is high sense of individualism. These people are really looking unique things. We call it statement pieces. In e-commerce, we always talk more reviews, more the sales. It's opposite in Gen Z. More the reviews, less the sales. It means it's very common. I don't want to wear this anymore. I want statement piece. I saw my friend wearing it, I don't want it anymore. So the shelf life of fashion has changed massively. And at NewMe, we think fashion is like a grocery business. An apple which is 5 days old doesn't sell well then. So you have to think the mindset of grocery in fast fashion here. Second is quite experimentative. They are looking for occasions of their life. Occasions which change every hour. The same young woman in the morning is in college, doing gig job in the evening, going for a friend's party in the night. 3 occasions in same day. That's what Gen Z is. Not shy of casting life on social media. I think Instagram is a classic example. My friends at Meta, I think they're seeing massive growth in Instagram because Instagram is the new reality of India. People express their lifestyle, their moods on Instagram. And fashion is the biggest enabler for that. So that's what we are. I think, as I said in my interview video as well, that we want to build a fashion brand which empowers young women to express themselves. I'm an engineer, not a fashion expert, so I built an equation here. Fashion is equal to AEV, aspiration, expression, and validation. So that's fashion for young Gen Z. Next slide. So again, I think spends, fashion is the biggest category of spends in Gen Z, and we see it becoming much and more prominent because I think people looking for this kind of fashion or Gen Z as a whole is coming in workforce, and that's getting more money in their pockets. And most important thing that they're not only spending themselves, as I said, they are decision making for you, your parents, someone else as well in the family. So that is the power of Gen Z as a consumer. Next slide, please. 2 steps back again. A Gen Z doesn't mean only Gen Z girl in tier 1. Sorry, that's not the right way of blending Gen Z. A Gen Z woman can be in tier 2 and tier 3 as well. So I'm just putting examples, and I'll not go in more deep today, but a Gen Z girl in tier 1, very aspirational. She looks at very premium brands, but she's also looking for very fashion funk. She will experiment a lot of time with fashion. She will make more purchases. Some of them even buy 6 times in a month from us. They are consumers in tier 2 girls who are fashion forward. They look up to tier 1 women for fashion. For them, it is more about buying from different fashion houses. They want to make sure that they will look unique in their friend circle. And that's why they buy 2 or 3 times or maybe 1 time per month from us. And last, a girl sitting in tier 3, maybe a city like Patna, city like Bhopal, they will come to nearby cities to buy fashion because they think that in their cities, they don't get latest fashion. And that's where NewMe becomes very exciting for them because they want to have fashion which is trendy. They don't want to compromise on trend factor. For them, it has to be what they see on Instagram, they want it next day. But it has to be tailor-made for the society there, which means cannot have deep neck cuts, cannot have sleeveless, etc., etc. This is the Indian society mindset there. So what are we doing? I think I've done it. As NewMe, we're a real-time fashion company, which is building for Gen Z women. We are dropping now 700 styles a week. And our vision is to make NewMe a trendiest destination for fashion across India for Gen Z women. And then go global. So yeah, next slide, please. So this is a team. Again, there are 4 guys building fashion. So obviously, we had to build a team which was more women-led. And we were lucky to have a lot of young women in the team, which could help us to definitely bring a lot of sanity in terms of fashion, in terms of aesthetics in the business. We also have a team in China. We have a setup in office in China as well because we are building in India, but we also import from China. And I think that's where I think we have a very strong supply chain, which allows us to launch so many styles with almost 0 inventory. So I think that's the beauty of NewMe, that we are able to launch trends in less than 12 days today. And I think with safest assumption, I think we could be one of the fastest companies in India which can bring runway to reality, which means what's trending gets to consumers' hand in 10 days. And that's the power of our technology solutions. That's the power of our supply chain. That's the power of our team from marketing to blend it all together. We are able to launch some collections in less than 3 days also. So I think the biggest thing is trends. Second is to launch it fastest. And third, doing all these things, not making mistake of inventory. I think for fashion industry across the world, inventory is the sweetest pill to kill the company. And I think at NewMe, we took an inverted approach there, which means inventory will be the leanest while we'll have the biggest assortment in the ecosystem. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah. So again, on some numbers format, we are launching almost 1,200 styles a month right now. We are with almost lowest industry MOQs again. We are keeping inventory, which is, again, lowest in industry. Again, for people in fashion, companies keep around 6 months inventory in business. We keep 35 to 40 days of inventory in business. And that allows us to launch more and more styles every single week. All this happens on our own technology stack, which is all built in-house, which is, again, something which we're very proud of, because that allows us to churn more and more styles without building inventory at business. Can you move to the next slide, please? While doing all these things, we also realized the power of Omni. I think thanks to Fireside team, when we discussed the idea of opening our first store, I think the support that we got from them was amazing. At the same time, we also used a lot of, as I said, technology in app to build this kind of business. We are able to achieve almost 5.5 million app downloads in less than 20 months. So seeing around 130, 140K now DAUs, 1.5 million MAUs now. And that's something is happening, most of it is coming organically for us. And that's the biggest part of branding here. So we opened 13 stores across 10 cities, and all these stores look unique. All these stores have a different story, because NewMe is about being new every single time. So we could not take an approach of building a brand which is consistent across all the stores. Even in Bangalore, if you go to a store, there's a different story on every store of NewMe. Even the collection in all stores are different. There's almost 30% collection which is different for every store, which comes from a data of online. In pin code level, what's selling, we'll put that in the store. And that allows us to be much better than traditional players in fashion industry. But yes, we're learning this much more often. Biggest challenge for us is high footfalls. We are a brand which gets very high footfalls, so we have to manage customer experience. We're learning that from a friend at Sleep Company. They keep guiding us sometimes on those things. But I think that's a problem to happy problem to solve, because we are able to see a lot of footfalls in our store, so we have to build more an experience there. I think this was a question which I remember asked by Kavalji sir in the first meeting of brand, the why NewMe, and I think that time this entire branding came alive that time. And I think this all has come to reality in the last 2 years now. I think we're able to build a brand which resonates to consumer. We're able to see it with the help of our Instagram. We almost 590K followers built in last 30 months now. I think the whole idea was to build for a very young, modern woman, but at the same time keep very aspirational. So while our prices are very low, we don't have very high prices, but the entire brand story, the entire brand narrative is extremely aspirational. And that's the challenging part of our business, that we don't want to play on pricing in any of our stores or online business. We don't run sales every time. We don't see pricing on the stores as well. The price is on the product itself, nowhere else. And that allows us to really keep that sense of pride. I call it again that my biggest success story, or my biggest picture of success, is that a customer should flaunt NewMe. And that's where we win the game, because that means we're able to build product which a customer is able to tell to her friends that I am wearing NewMe. Next slide, please. Again, I think one thing which we are always very careful was that content is the future of commerce. And that's where we played a very heavy game on day one. From day one, we have been playing extremely heavy on content and able to reach industry best numbers in some of the metrics. Built almost 590K followers now, 30 million plus organic reach on a monthly basis. YouTube, again, a big channel for us. And all this happens, all these people you see on these videos are internal team members. These are not creators, these are all people who work with us every day in office. So this is the power of social media, original, authentic, relatable. While doing all these things, the biggest thing was the community, which is where NewMe is very strong in the campuses. Our consumers are in colleges, and that's where we went all out to make sure that we can win them very early. And idea was to make sure that can we make sure we own more of the wardrobe share as they become more and more elder, plus have more money in their pockets. While doing all these things, we have done almost 25 pop-ups across 20 cities of India. These are pop-ups which are experience centers. 2,000 plus community members now. Multiple things on campuses we do every month, because that's what we believe is a lot of things people are not spending time there. And this consumer is very approachable there for us at a much lower cost. This video seeing last, this is a video of our sale, first sale of Black Friday. And believe me, none of these are people are coming by calling, by paying money. These all people came to us just because we announced a sale, first time in our journey of our business. And we saw massive queue at our stores. And that was really, really an emotional moment for all founders because we never thought that this could happen one day in our journey. Next slide, please. While doing all these things, I think, just summarizing our journey, 4 big pillars of NewMe. First, that we were trend first, fastest to market company. We want to make sure that we can launch trends very fast. In last 30 months, we have launched 70 plus trends, out of which 10 or 15 were where we were the first ones in India to launch those trends in India. We take 2 to 7 days to launch a trend to reality, which means the design, the product goes out on the consumer's hand within 7 days. Infinite freshness, as I said, freshness is the biggest hook for us. We are able to drive organic traffic very heavily because every Friday we call Friday FOMO. Every Friday, 5 p.m., we drop new styles, which is curated for that week trend. Total 11,000 plus styles live today, but we don't have inventory for all of them. Zero inventory, this is where I think we pioneered in India. We were the first company to go and crack this model in India. It took us almost 9 months, 10 months of trials and errors. Today, we are a company which has single-digit wastage compared to industry double-digit wastage. While I know I don't fit in the fireside ESG system sometimes, we are trying our best to make sure no plastic in our deliveries, zero plastic in supply chain, compliance on factory levels, making sure that we don't have wastage. These are 4 things which we think as fast fashion company we're doing from day one to make sure we are responsible founders, responsible company. Last, as I said, omnichannel, that's what we are around. We were very lucky to have Fireside very early in our journey. First believers after the early stage companies. And last year we got Axel on board. Again, thanks to Fireside team, they were able to help us get Axel on board. I think that's our journey till now. Thanks everyone. Thank you.
300,000 customers, 140,000 pet names we know by heart, 90,000 birthdays celebrated. These aren't just numbers. Each of them represents a fundamental shift in the modern Indian household. Our customers aren't just getting pets, they're choosing to be pet parents. Think about it. One customer, multiple needs. Food, essential, vaccination, care, grooming, pharmacy, boarding, everything that is centered around their pet. But there's one thing that the customer really wants, and that is they need guidance. They need it from a partner who they can trust, and that's Supertails.
In 2022, our quarterly retention was at 23%. Today, we are upwards of 45%. Let me share what this means in numbers. Our 12 months LTV grew from 6,000 to 9,000. Bangalore showed exceptional growth in retention, with our annual LTV growing from 8,000 to 13,000. This is projected to reach to 20,000 by March 26.
Age-old question, are cats better than dogs?
Don't you think dogs are better than cats?
Don't worry guys, we'll build business for both. Good afternoon everyone. I'm Vineet Khanna. I'm the co-founder of Supertails. We are building in and a category that is called pet care, a category that brings smiles to everyone over here, investors as well as consumers, a category which brings smiles to 1 in 5 of us as pet parents, a category which brings smiles to 3 in 4 of us as pet lovers. What we are building at Supertails is not just a commerce company, is not just a healthcare company, but an ecosystem for the first-time pet parents of the country. We are a companion for the first-time pet parents of India in their journey for pet parenthood. The category in India has shown a very, very high CAGR of upwards of 2,500, and what we believe today stands at an inflection point close to $1.7 billion. The inflection point largely because of the penetration, post which a category gets into a spiral of peer network effect. So we are at a 15% household penetration for pets in the country, post which in all the developed economies, the growth has only been exponential. India has a lot of factors leading to this growth, delayed marriages, lowered fertility rates, and the rising per capita consumption all bode very well for this category. Interestingly, the calorie consumption, which is a technical term for this category, which is the number of calories per 100 calories consumed by the pet, which used to be about 6 to 7% pre-COVID, has crossed the 10% mark in a matter of couple of years. Then who are we building for? We are building for an involved and first-time pet parent. This first-time pet parent represents 85% of the pet parents in the country, very contrary to the pet parents outside India, where more than 90% of them are second or third-time pet parents. These pet parents have this first responsibility in their life, and as you know, first responsibility is very, very special, which makes them more involved about their pet parenthood than anybody else. They're aged between 25 and 35, which means they are digitally savvy, and yet wanting to spend as well as know a lot about their pet parenthood. They have a high intent to spend on the pet with growing categories such as healthcare beyond just supplies. Most of the pets which were adopted during COVID are now going to have their healthcare problems, and which is why the healthcare category within pets is growing faster than the supplies segment. What I need to show over here is not to be read in a sense, but what it shows is that the journey of a pet parent is not easy. It involves a lot of different needs, both transactional as well as non-transactional, during the various life stages of the pet life cycle. What starts from understanding how their pet parenthood would go to gets into some transactional needs around supplies and then healthcare, and then to more knowledge-based needs in the later half. And in all this while, this is one of the most emotional categories. All of these factors leading to very, very high scope for personalization, hand-holding, and a lot of engagement. There are these 4 quadrants of our consumer, and today India is largely represented by the top 2 quadrants, because 85% of the pet parents are first-time pet parents. They are seeking hand-holding, and if they are a new parent, they seek convenience as well, and if they're transitioning to a multi-pet household, they seek experiences. Now, what do all these? These are some of the characteristics of these pet parents, and especially of our consumer base. 1 in 3 pet parents celebrate their birthdays. This is growing. 53% of them feed mixed diet. 30% of them have adopted a pet, while 80% of the pet parents actually have breed animals. 70% of them want to talk to somebody who they can trust. 30% deworm and 40% groom their pets regularly. What are all these indicators? These are very, very high involvement indicators, creating an opportunity for engagement and cross-selling. Basically, what they are looking for is an ecosystem which can deliver trust, quality, and convenience. Then it comes to what we are building at Supertails. At Supertails, as I mentioned, we are not a pet commerce company, we are not a pet healthcare company, we are not a pet private label or a products company. We have this interesting layer of pet relationship management, and that is what we stand for. These first-time pet parents need hand-molding on both their transactional needs of supplies and healthcare, and their non-transactional needs of knowledge and emotion. This pet relationship management layer manifests itself to handhold the pet parents across all the stages of the journey of a pet parent that I just spoke about. Now consider this as one layer which not just engages with the pet parent, but becomes a data engine for all the business lines that exist within the ecosystem. Today we are the only player in this category who does not just know the customer, but we know our consumer, which is the pet as well. We have more than 40 plus data points at a pet level, ranging from their birthdays, breeds, age, weight, etc., etc., which makes us develop this model that once we acquire a customer, using this relationship management layer, we are able to engage with the consumer with data-driven insights. So I don't need to be sending a 20% off discount coupon to my consumer, but I can always remind my customer that you have a vaccination due for your pet next week. What it gives us is an opportunity that because we are engaging in this model on a functional level from awareness to reacquisition into our business line, but on an emotional level, we are building, through familiarity and convenience, we are building trust and brand love. That gives us an opportunity to cross-sell whatever business offerings that we keep adding to this ecosystem. So the simple model is to first acquire a consumer and own all their needs as we evolve into a full-stack ecosystem. We just ventured into our offline healthcare space a couple of months back, and this is a very, very important, part of the ecosystem, which was always a part of the vision, but we thought we will be able to launch it once we have proven ourselves on the online or the healthcare side of things digitally for us to understand what healthcare for pets looks like. On an overall level, the 40% of the business is going to come in the steady state from the healthcare business, and the remaining 60% is going to come from supplies and the product ecosystem, with about 20% from our own private labels. We are a complete app ecosystem with the largest assortment. Today, we already have moved to a 2-hour delivery model, and we aim to take it to a 30-minute delivery model by the next year, and truly translate into an omni-channel pet care ecosystem with all forms of offerings. This has been our journey so far. Fireside came in with us in 2022. And ever since then, we have grown more than 100% year on year. Today, we are upwards of a $20 million revenue. As you see from here, retention is a very important element of this category. So to grow our revenue by an X%, we need to grow by our consumer base by much lesser than that X%. As we mentioned in the video, our annual retention numbers are something which are truly benchmark in this category, and that is the North Star metric of the entire organization. The annual LTV has grown closer to upwards of $100, and we aim to take this to closer to $200 in the overall scheme of things, as we have kept on unlocking the offerings over time. So we are the best placed because of this data engine to discover what are the needs of the pet parents and keep launching them in a phase-wise manner as we feel it right for the market to absorb. The three of us, we've divided our roles. We call ourselves the founder trio as the architect, the builder, and the operator, coming with about 3 decades of startup experience, building companies from 0 to 1 to 100 in the past. That's the story so far. Thank you so much for patiently listening in.
Yeah, hi, Ankur. So why do you think that segment which you mentioned was, till now ignored by, lot many brands to place their products? So, being HUL, ITC and all being there in India for so long, so I'm sure they must have also done some study and there was a reason why they were not there. So any thoughts on that?
Actually, interestingly, after working with and probably discussing with most of these brands that why have we not reached there, सबको I think we still feel कि हम सब पहुँचते हैं rural में. That was the problem state. So anyone we ask, we can take Pepsi, we can take HUL, we can actually take यहाँ पे ऋषभ थे Marico. We have talked to all of them, and everyone probably feels कि वहाँ पे हम पहुँचते हैं. But actually, the way the brands have designed supply chain is generally you give to a distributor. Super Stockist को देते हो, आप distributor को देते हो. Now distributor generally has a captive audience. तो महीने का target उसका पूरा हो जाता है कि generally मैं सामान distribute कर दिया मैंने, मेरा monthly income set हो गई. तो जो हमारा distributor doesn't try to go कि मैं थोड़ा और आगे चला जाऊँगा. Of course, and for a single brand, अगर मैं single brand जाकर delivery करता हूँ, तो my costs are very high. सिंगल ब्रांड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन अगर गांव में बिल्ड करने जाता हूँ तो आपकी इकोनॉमिक्स पूरी फिट नहीं हो पाती उसमें. So there has to be somebody who actually brings all the brands together and actually takes those products there. और अदरवाइज वी कीप ऑन थिंकिंग कि हम रूरल में जाते हैं, बट दैट्स नॉट रूरल, दैट्स एक्चुअली टियर 2 टियर 3 इसको हम बोलते हैं. हम पहुंच नहीं पाते हैं बिकॉज ऑफ दीज प्रोबली दीज कॉस्ट, प्रोबली उसको हमने डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर को अलाइन नहीं किया, उसके बाद का जो एक और स्मॉलर डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर शायद बनना चाहिए था वो नहीं बना. सो ऑल ऑफ दीज ब्रांड्स एक्चुअली वी हैव टेकन देम टू एक एक गाँव में लेके गए हम सबको. एंड एवरी वन हैज़ कम बैक विद द सेम आंसर कि यू यूज टू थिंक वी डिलीवर इन विलेजेस बट वी डोंट. सो बहुत छोटी छोटी दुकानें होती हैं, 70 से 100 SKU होते हैं उसमें, और बहुत कम ब्रांड्स, प्रोबेबली रीजनल ब्रांड या बनता है जो कोई छोटे छोटे ब्रांड आसपास के जो एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट में या प्रोबेबली आधी डिस्ट्रिक्ट में जो बिल्ड करता है उसका मैन्युफैक्चरिंग वही होता है, उसको बहुत जाके एक स्टॉक नहीं करना पड़ता, तो उसकी सप्लाई चेन कॉस्ट बहुत छोटी होती है. तो इसीलिए आपकी वो गांव की छोटी सी दुकान में आपको लोकल या रीजनल ब्रांड थोड़े ज़्यादा मिलते हैं एज़ कम्पेयर टू नेशनल ब्रांड्स. बहुत कम, प्रोबेबली आपने यूनिलीवर बोला, प्रोबेबली मैक्सिमम रीच यूनिलीवर की होगी, बट प्रोबेबली विद 1 or 2 प्रोडक्ट्स लार्जली. दैट्स वाई आई थिंक it is an ecosystem problem which all of us will have to come together to solve. उसको साथ में एक कंपनी को ले जाकर डिलीवर करना पड़ेगा, अदरवाइज we'll keep struggling with the cost and will not be able to reach individually as a company. So that's what my understanding of this problem statement is.
Sure. Thank you. And next question is to Vineet. You mentioned that we are at the inflection point for pet care in India. So you think what the rising income levels or is it also very contagious according to you, the buyer profile, like your neighbors are having it, you see lot many, so you also want to have. So what are these who are these buyers, what is the buying profile, why are they getting into the despite, so we see a lot of families also having pets, so what do you think are the reasons for the increasing penetration?
So as I mentioned, we have, studied this, that there is an inflection penetration, typically in the range of 13% to 14%, which is when the peer network effect starts to take over, which is when you do something because the people around you are doing the same. So India on an urban level has already crossed that inflection point of more than 15% household penetration of pets. And at an overall, at a country level also, we are knocking the doors with about 12% penetration. Club that with, as I mentioned, delayed marriages, lower fertility rates, and a rising disposable income. Now, we all need companionship. We have this theory called the oxytocin hormone theory, and we all are slaves to our hormones. We will need to fulfill it some or the other way. And it is scientifically proven pets are the best, suppliers of oxytocin. So all these are societal as well as design level factors which are leading to a growing pet population. People are keeping more pets than they are planning families. Some of the peoples are planning pets before they are planning their kids. So all of this is bound to happen in the country.
Sure, thank you.
Hi, yeah, so I have a general question, and this might apply to most of you, maybe not to Ankur, but I hear very few references to Western companies here. So you're not standing there and saying like, well, we're NewMe, we're trying to, we look at fast retailing and we want to do that here in India, or we're, Petco, we want to do this here in India. Are you actually looking, are you going back to the playbook in Europe and in the US, how this works, and trying to copy it here? Or are you approaching this from a completely first principles approach where you say, this is India and we're just trying to do it our way here?
So I can answer this for the pet category. What I believe, Petco and Chewy, how they approached the market, it was a very, very large market when they came into being. India is still not as large a pet care market as was US or Europe. Over there, verticals of verticals could have existed, and they became an ecosystem well later in their journey. But as Supertails, when we launched, we felt that the Indian consumer is quite different, while the end state of both, obviously Chewy and Petco a lot later as of today, and for Supertails maybe 5-7 years down the line might look the same. but our phases, our GTM, and the pace at which we will take care of the entire ecosystem in India has to be very, very different from what those companies did. For example, Chewy has just launched about 6 months back, launched their offline healthcare vertical. They were always there in medicines for a very, very long time. These are the differences. We are taking cues from them, but I think the Indian market in this category is very, very different and needs to be handled differently as well.
About two Indias today. From this perspective, I think fundamentally consumer is same. Every consumer needs speed. Every consumer needs more assortment. And of course, if given all the conditions same, of course, a consumer will want a product to be cheaper. So keeping everything same, the consumer fundamentally, in my opinion, is same. But we definitely need to tailor many things as for taste, preferences, how do you solve for supply chain, how do you ensure that the consumer is comfortable, that the consumer trusts you. So considering those things, few tweaks we definitely need to make as per the audience, but as consumer, I think irrespective of where we are in the world, probably fundamentally all consumers, all of us are same. We desire more products, we desire all the things same. So Rozana fundamentally believes, and we have seen actually our belief is from all the learnings that we have every day. So considering some fundamental same for every consumer, we keep on building and we keep on customizing, probably district by district also, considering the taste preferences and all the sometimes weather conditions, sometimes economic conditions, sometimes aspirational conditions. So we keep on tailoring according to the customer's needs. So that portion keeps changing definitely.
I think in fashion, especially Gen Z, I think the gap between Indian Gen Z or a US Europe Gen Z is minimal. I think today the similar content is being viewed by most of the young generation, I would say, especially on Instagram, which is the biggest channel of content distribution today in India. In that case, there is no reason for us to not learn from the best of the world. I don't think it's only western part of India. I think there's a lot of things for India to learn from east part of India, which is China. I think as a company, we want to make sure that we learn from best. And I think the best of the world is Zara and Shein. I think if NewMe can build a business which is hybrid of best of these two, there is no reason for us to not become a global company tomorrow. We are already omni-channel. We're already building supply chain from India, which is made for Indian body shapes, Indian young women. There's no reason for us not to go to global markets in the next 3 to 5 years from now. And that makes India a much bigger country. Because in last 70 years, if you look at India, we have been one of the biggest production houses for fashion for the global brands. But if I pick up any big fashion brand from India, it's zero. There is no reason for that to not happen now. I think India in the last 20 years has changed, and next 20 years will be where we will play a bigger role as brand creators, on a global level. I think that's what my belief is, and that's what drives me every day in my daily life.
I know someone had their hand up on that side, but we have time for only one question now.
My question is to Sumit. As you said that a lot of your supply chain is from China, so how are you thinking, like with the geopolitical changes and everything, would you like to keep it the same way, or you would like to move it to India? And how is the space changing and people are taking forward the production from China?
I think, I don't think I said it, majority is China. I think we are one of the fastest companies to move our production to India. Today, a lot of my production happens in India. We're again one of the only companies doing literally zero MOQ model in India, which is very difficult to crack, with our own technology stack, which we built in the last 24 months, which allows us to really allow our factory partners to produce actually what is bought by customer. And that is where we are making India ready to compete on a global level. Because those days are over where you can produce in advance and then wish it will sell someday. Those days are over for the fashion industry. Fashion has to start adapting to the new reality, which is build what consumer wants to buy. Otherwise, don't build it. You actually hamper the planet, you hamper supply chain, and no one makes any money. Coming to the answer of overall risk, I think entrepreneurship is about taking risks, which is calculated. On day one, we were China. Today, we are much in India. And I think in some more time, we may open more geographies for our supply chain. As an entrepreneur, my role is to make sure that I create impact, not by just capital, but also by creating job. Creating a very big global fashion brand from India, I think itself will be a biggest challenge that I will face. And I know this reality today. So for that, I have to be ready every single day to make sure that I make minimum mistakes and make sure my customers love me. So I think that's what I solve for every single day. And that is where I think I make sure my team is on the same vision with me on that front.
That's it. I think we've got only time for this much. Thank you everyone for sharing your journeys with us. I think it's beautiful to see how within this room itself we're building for all of India. So thank you.
Thank you, Andy.